The HAMTR mech was added to the game. It is an experimental mech which uses a neural link to interface directly into a hamster's brain. It is either used by hamlet or hamsters that are sentient, and a hamlet or hamster can enter the hamster by alt-clicking it or right-clicking it and entering. The way to acquire a hamster is science has to build one, just like a Ripley or a Honk. The hamster can't pick up large crates like a Ripley does. It uses a small hydraulic press. One of the main functions of this is that with a small hydraulic clamp, you can pick up things that are small, like plushies, for example. You can even pick up things like medical supplies, which might be the most useful thing you could pick up that's a small object, and you could always just drop it on the ground, like so. The hamster does make you pretty fast, faster than a normal hamster, but you can't go under objects with it, obviously. And it doesn't allow you to talk. You will still be speaking as a hamster, so there's no fancy voice module or anything like that. And without the clamp, it only does 12 damage a hit and attacks relatively slowly. APCs now have a maximum kilowattage that they work at. The way to see this is by looking at battery power and looking at the wattages. If it exceeds 24 kilowatts, it will pop the breaker. So if I just put down another computer, the APC's breaker popped. So it has its own message. If you try to turn it on, it'll just immediately say it popped. And if you delete the object, you still have to toggle the APC and then power or restore. So you need to keep an eye on how much power your APCs are actually using now is pretty important. Non-engineering tool belts no longer spawn with a multi-tool. This will severely reduce the amount of multi-tools on a station and make getting a multi-tool just a little bit harder. Defibs no longer remove air loss from living patients. If I defib them, they will still have the asphyxiation damage. Hard to really show this one, but Botany has received nerfs across the board. Almost every single plant has either had its yield or its growth time reduced. This is to cut back on the amount of entity spam that Botany can produce. Also, Botany makes food completely trivial because they can produce literally hundreds of giant apples every few minutes or whatever produce they want. And crossbreeding would allow you to make plants grow at a ridiculous rate. This is to tone it back just a little bit. Deconstructing the research and development server will now reset all of the technologies in it. So for example, I showed you had some text there. So if you come up to the R&D server, right click deconstruct it, there's actually deconstruction options now. So you just screwdriver it and crowbar it. And that dismantles the server. If I were to put the server back together, you'll see the tech has been effectively reset. And you must re-link up to the server and sync it. What you could do is that this allows you to either completely destroy Science's progress, which I guess before you could just bomb the server, or what it does allow though is that you can make, if you research tier 3 and you get cloning and say you want to really fast track to get to like or if you want to like guarantee also get blue space bags, you can do that. Realistically, low roleplay rounds often don't last long enough that you're going to ever really make use of this. If anything, I think it's just going to be used by syndicates trying to destroy Science's progress. You can now buy cargo pallets at Cargo in order to make extra shuttles to sell things, or you can just simply upgrade the trading ship. They're only $250 a piece. This could allow for even more efficient resource management by the quartermaster or whatever cargo techs are running the place, and it gives you just a little bit more. It gives you the ability to fix the cargo ship if it gets bombed and the pallets end up getting destroyed. Fat Reagent was added to the game. What you can do with it is, if you grind up raw meats, it would give you both fat, and depending on it, the food, it might also give you uncooked animal proteins. And if you just add 10 units of water and 10 units of salt, you can make things like soap. So that's a pretty interesting little addition. Logic gates are added to the game. They only cost 3 steel and 2 low voltage cables, and you need a network configurator or multi-tool to handle them. The logic gate has 6 different modes. I'm just gonna do AND. In order to get to AND mode, it starts on OR. You just have to screwdriver it, and it'll swap to AND. And I can swap through all of them. And if you're wondering why it went off, is because I had a setup already. So if I swap to and let's say that I want to have these two doors open. If both of them open, I want it to bolt one of these doors. What I like to do is you link the devices to input A, and then link this one to input B, and then you simply link the logic gate to here to door bolt. Now if I open both of these doors, it'll bolt this door. And that is just one small example of and. You can use it for things like security in order to make secure doors, or if somebody tries to run through a door, it will automatically bolt the next door. Or you can do it. You could also just link the doors directly, but this allows for more complex logic gates. This is more of a week about quality of life and fixing small issues. The content is a bit light, but that's totally fine. There's things like deposit entities no longer being ghost rules until they're active. That's really nice, but it's hard to show that. And other really minor quality of life things that were bugs for a short time. I want you to still thank every single one of our maintainers and contributors for making the game continually run, be up to date. And I will slowly scroll through so you can see all the more minor things or the things I just didn't cover, because they are still just as important even if I don't cover them.